Welcome to A Garden a Day with Maidenbrock Gardens, where we explore the world one garden at a time. Today is April 3rd. For most of the places we've explored this year, part of what makes those places special is the abundance of varieties of plants. The more the better, with display gardens showing various plants from many different climates in one larger garden. But today's garden focuses on just one flower, the California poppy. If you've ever seen a California poppy, you know it's orange. Now, from what I've gathered through the years, orange is not exactly everyone's favorite garden flower color. I have to say, I've nothing against orange. Most flowers are pretty in their own right. They have their purpose. They were made the way they were supposed to be. I'm good with that. I'm fine with orange flowers, except for one kind. Some of you might already have a flower in mind. Let's see if you and I agree. The one and only orange flower I cannot stand is the ditch lily. Or where I come from, they're called graveyard lilies because that's where you find them. I grew up in an older part of the country that's still mostly rural. And back in the old days, people would bury their kin in their backyards right there on their farm. Well, fast forward 100 years or more, the house is gone, but the grave is still there. It's pretty common to ride down the road and see a small patch of ground that doesn't match its surroundings. A large field with a small area that's grown up at some random spot in the middle. The farmer didn't miss the spot. That spot is somebody's grave. Sometimes there's a tombstone. Sometimes larger plots have a wrought iron fence around them. But often it's just a random spot in an otherwise neatly plowed field that looks overgrown. But the other way you know it's somebody's grave is that you'll see orange lilies growing all over it. That's pretty much the general rule. If you see a random patch of orange lilies, you know you've found somebody's grave, guaranteed. To clarify, these are not tiger lilies, although they do look similar. These are plain old orange graveyard lilies, and I can't stand them. I remember being little, maybe preschool age, maybe even younger, maybe toddler age, looking out the car window as we're riding down the road. They were everywhere. And then I just learned a few years ago, maybe a couple years ago, that back in the 1800s, Victorian times, when the language of flowers was popular. You know, when a certain flower symbolized a certain thing and a certain color symbolized a certain thing. Like a red rose means love and yellow roses mean friendship, that sort of thing. Well, I learned that it was popular during that time to plant orange lilies on the grave of someone you despised or someone who was a bad person. Oh my gosh, what kind of place was I raised in? Those flowers were everywhere. How many scandals can there be in one place? Anyway, we're not supposed to be talking about graveyard lilies today. Today we are exploring Antelope Valley, California Poppy Reserve in Lancaster, California. The California poppy is the state flower of California, and it's a popular flower for homeowners to plant in their yards. The Antelope Valley, California Poppy Reserve is a 1,700-acre park with fields of poppies blanketing the earth for as far as the eyes can see. The reserve is administered by the California Department of Parks and Recreation. The intention of the reserve is to keep the fields in a strictly natural state, so the Parks and Rec Department lets nature do its job. They don't water or fertilize the flowers, but they do light controlled fires as needed to control exotic species and dead brush. Peak bloom time is usually just about right now. It's any time between mid-March and April, but it always depends on how much rainfall the fields receive during winter. This last winter was dry, and conditions for this year seem to lean a bit more toward the better luck next year end of the spectrum. But there's still time. peak bloom in 2023 didn't occur until later in April, so don't give up hope yet. Poppies only open when the weather conditions are just right. Temperatures have to be above the mid-50s, and it has to be sunny and not too windy. Their delicate little petals tear easily, and the plants know when conditions are good and when it's best to stay closed. The Parks Department does have a poppy cam, so you can check out the blooms from the comfort of your own home. But I just checked it, and there's not much going on yet. Maybe they're just a little bit late this year. I've included a link in the notes to the poppy cam. Poppies aren't the only wildflowers in the reserve. When you walk through the reserve, you can report the wildflowers you see to help the reserve catalog the location and species. There's a QR code on the park's website with instructions on how to help. I've included the website in the notes. There are 8 miles of trails in the reserve, including a paved section for wheelchair access. Under California law, it is illegal to pick a California poppy or any flower in the reserve. So look, but don't touch. Apparently, there are snakes in this garden, so it's best to stay on the trails. You might also see meadowlarks, lizards, coyotes, and bobcats. The Jane S. Pinero Interpretive Center is open from March 1st to Mother's Day in May. At the center, visitors can enjoy a welcome video, gift shop, wildflower and wildlife exhibits, and a gallery of Pinero's watercolor paintings. The park is open all year long from sunrise to sunset. This is the Mojave High Desert, so pack some sunscreen and plenty of water. And know before you go that you won't find any shade on the trails. Whether you like orange flowers or not, the blooming fields of California poppies are a sight to behold. Well, that's about it for today's garden visit, or reserve visit in this instance. Join me here tomorrow to find out where we're going next. If you haven't done so yet, I invite you to subscribe to the show and leave us a review. I really appreciate all your support, and it helps others find the show too. Thank you for listening. That's about it for today. If all goes well, I'll be right back here tomorrow. See you then.